Hi BookTube. In 2020, this year, I've set myself a goal that I secretly set every year, and without fail, I never follow through. So this year, I decided to make it into a BookTube project, make it public, so that I could hopefully be held more accountable. That project, you'll probably guess by the title, is to read the Bible in a full year. The Bible in full in a year. Now there are a ton of different guides to help you do this, and previously I had just decided to start at the beginning of the Bible and read all the way through to the end. And I've always made it a good chunk into the Old Testament, but I'm not going to lie, the New Testament is my favorite, so I get impatient to get there and I end up giving up. And I also know there's a lot of interconnections between the Old Testament and the New Testament, so the guide that I found actually has me reading parts of the Old Testament with parts of the New Testament, so I think it will really help. I also have a few different Bibles and guides that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to show those to you now. This is my go-to Bible. I have a book cover on it. I've had it for a long time. And this is the translation called The Message. Open to the front page here, The Bible in Contemporary Language by Eugene H. Peterson. It has different notes about the interpretations. And this is going to be the Bible that I'm reading. I also have this version of the Bible, the New Revised Standard Version, this HarperCollins Study Bible, which I'll be using to cross-reference as well. But I really like the language used in the Message. But I know this is more traditional, so I kind of go back and forth between them. And then I have 3 other guides that I'll be using. The first is The Stranger on the Road to Emmaus, which is just kind of a simple explanation of the Bible, very straightforward. The Bible Study Toolkit is a bit more involved, so I'll be using that as well. And then lastly, this is solely for the New Testament, and I've already read the introduction to get a head start on this. This is kind of like the Gospel according to Jesus, so this is Stephen Mitchell's own version of the Gospels with what he believes is the core message of what Jesus was actually saying. So I'll be using that as well. And I will also be using the internet, because why not access, the world's knowledge at my fingertips in this project. So why am I even doing this project, and what do I hope to gain from this? I think it's important for 2 reasons. First of all, the Bible is one of the most influential texts on Western literature. Whether you believe in it or not, it has influence on our culture and our writing. And as a Western reader, I think it's important. It's an important text to read. So I want to read it because I think it's an important book. And secondly, I do identify as a Christian, and as well as I feel I know the Gospels and the New Testament, I don't know the Old Testament as well. So I think it's important as a Christian to not only read the whole Bible, but also to study it. So that's why this is not just a read the Bible cover to cover, it's also a try and get my hands into it and know more about it. So what are some of the challenges I'm foreseeing, and how can I overcome them? First of all, I think reading from the Old and New Testaments will help combat some of that stagnant feelings I felt from previous attempts to do this. So it's kind of like reading 2 different books at a time, which I love doing to help deter reading slumps. I also have this version of the Message, which I keep by my bedside, and I haven't gotten into it yet because it was a recent purchase. So if I don't have time during the day to read some of the more in-depth texts, I can at least, pick this up, read I think it's like 4 chapters or 3.5 chapters a day, which is nothing. Like the chapters are, like a full page. And Bible chapters are quite short, so I don't think it'll take much time to read that. And I'm also going to allow myself some slack. I know there's going to be days where I'm really busy. I work a split shift. I have events. I, just don't feel like doing it that day. So I'm not going to stress out to do it every day. I'm going to allow myself to have some catch-up days. So I don't want to beat myself up and get discouraged from continuing with it. So that's what I'm going to do. One thing I do plan to keep me more accountable as well is to be uploading a weekly video to discuss the passages that I read that week and any research I want to share, and I'll be uploading on Sundays, which is a fitting day, I believe. And some days, you know, may have longer videos with a lot of talking and a lot of thoughts, and some may just be like short check-in videos because, you know, nothing really happened except, you know, a list of names. So I just want to have those videos to keep myself accountable. And I want to stress that I'm in no way like a preacher. I have no background besides, you know, 14 years Catholic school. But aside from that, I have no real like degree in religious studies or anything. So this is just coming from like a lay person, their own personal thoughts on it. So yeah, that's one of my projects for 2020. Thank you for watching.